We've all heard that old cliche, right? Time is money, or time is precious. We say it all the time. But today, we're going to dive into this explainer and unpack a really profound story from our sources. It's a parable about a father, a son, and an old pocket watch that completely reframes those cliches and really makes you rethink the weight of your everyday choices.
So let me ask you something, and be honest. If you truly understood the value of time, would you still waste it? It's kind of an uncomfortable question, isn't it? I mean, think about the countless hours we spend just mindlessly scrolling on our phones or putting off important stuff, constantly telling ourselves, oh, I'll just start tomorrow. We nod along when people say time is valuable, sure, but our actions, they usually tell a completely different story.
And it really all boils down to this stark contrast between what we can earn back and what we absolutely cannot. Look at things like money or a job. If you lose your money, you can work hard and make it back. If a farmer loses his crops to a bad storm, well, he can replant them next season. Even if you lose a job, you can eventually find a new one. That is all recoverable wealth. But an hour that just slipped by, an entire afternoon spent doing literally nothing, that is entirely unrecoverable. Not even all the gold in the world can buy back a single passing moment.
To really hammer this home, our sources share this amazing story of a hardworking father who understood this deeply, and his son who absolutely didn't. The kid slept in, wandered the streets with his friends, and basically lived like he had an infinite amount of time. The dad tried giving him gentle advice, as parents do, but eventually he just fell silent. He realized this profound truth. Advice enters the ears, but wisdom enters only when the heart is ready. Delivering yet another long, boring lecture just wasn't going to cut it. He needed a silent, practical lesson.
Okay, so picture this. One evening, the father pulls out an old, faintly ticking pocket watch from a wooden cupboard. He wraps it really carefully in a soft cloth, and the next morning, he gives his son a very specific task. He tells the boy to take this old, working watch down to the busy market and simply ask people what price they'd give for it. That's the whole mission. Just go to a bunch of people, listen to what they say, and come back.
The kid figures, hey, easy enough, and heads right into the noisy, dusty market. He walks up to a cloth merchant first, shows him the watch, and the merchant inspects it, kind of turning it over in his hands. His immediate verdict? 500 rupees, not a rupee more. Totally transactional. And we see right away how the market initially evaluates the watch strictly as a physical, material object.
So the boy keeps walking. Next, he stops by a grocery seller who takes a slightly closer look at the condition of the metal and the glass. The seller says, maybe 800. It looks decent enough. We're starting to see those slight little variations in how everyday folks appraise material worth just based on a quick glance.
Finally, near the very end of the lane, there's this man sitting behind a huge pile of steel utensils. He barely glances at it and goes, I would say 1,000, give or take. So by the afternoon, the boy heads home. He's totally expecting his dad to explain what this all means, right? I mean, he got 3 different prices, 500, 800, and 1,000. But the father offers absolutely no explanation, zero. He just takes the watch back, leaving the son completely confused.
But then day 2 rolls around. Father calls his son over again and hands him the exact same watch. Except this time, the instructions are completely different. He tells him, go back to the market, but ask people not the price of the watch, but the price of the time inside it. It's an impossible, almost absurd question to ask a merchant, and this is the twist that sets the real lesson in motion.
So the boy trudges back to the market, goes up to the first merchant, and asks this strange new question. The reaction is immediate. The merchant literally bursts out laughing and says, the price of time? What nonsense, are you trying to be funny? The poor kid is just completely taken aback by being mocked like that. But he pushes through and tries again at another shop. And honestly, it only gets worse. A woman there just waves him off totally dismissively and snaps, go home, boy. Stop wasting people's time with silly questions. And for the very first time in his life, the boy feels this deep sting of shame. He's walking through his own hometown carrying a question he doesn't even understand himself, and people are just shooing him away like a pest. His anxiety is spiking, and he just wants to bolt. Finally, a really frustrated man shakes his head at him and growls, you cannot put a price on time. Now leave me alone. At this point, the boy is incredibly embarrassed. He feels foolish, his face is burning up, and he is right on the verge of just giving up and running home to escape the humiliation. But just before he turns back, he spots this tiny, quiet little watch repair shop tucked away in a dusty corner of the market. Inside the shop sits this old man with silver hair and really kind eyes, just quietly fixing clocks with steady hands. The boy steps in, takes a breath, and asks his question one last time. And the amazing thing is, the old man doesn't laugh. He actually stops his work, looks at the boy with total understanding for a long moment, and delivers the profound thesis of our story. He says, "The watch can have a price, but the time inside it, that has no price."
The old watchmaker goes on to explain this brilliant concept. Time is our absolute greatest treasure. Think about it. It's something that's entirely free to receive when you wake up, yet it's absolutely priceless and totally impossible to buy back once a single second passes. Like he points out, a burned-down shop, you can rebuild it. Lost wealth, you can earn it back. But if 1 hour of your life passes, not even the richest billionaire on earth can buy it back.
And this illustrates this wild dual nature of time. The bad news? Time never stops and waits for anyone. It just keeps ticking forward, whether you're ready for it or not. But the good news? You still get to choose exactly what to do with it. Its relentless, unstoppable momentum is balanced entirely by your own personal agency.
Which brings us to one absolutely crucial number, 24. It is the undeniable universal equalizer. Literally, every single person on the planet, whether you're rich or poor, young or old, gets exactly 24 hours each day. There are no exceptions here. No extra minutes handed out to the wealthy, no fewer hours given to the poor. It is the ultimate level playing field in life. So the watchmaker leans in and tells the boy this. The difference between a person who succeeds and a person who fails isn't just raw talent or dumb luck. It is exactly how they choose to spend those 24 hours. One person uses their time to build a future, while another simply throws it away. And our sources note that these words didn't just hit the boy's ears, they fell into his heart like rain on dry soil. It reached a place inside him that all of his dad's scolding never could, because his heart was finally ready to hear it. The boy lowers his eyes and whispers, "I understand now." But the old man hands the watch back and gives him one final vital instruction. He says, "Then do not just understand, change." The boy rushes all the way home. He tells his father everything, word for word, with this brand new fire in his eyes. The internal journey is complete, and the father knows the lesson has truly taken root without him ever needing to give a single long speech.
Because, let's face it, understanding is pretty much useless without action, right? The boy's life actually transformed through concrete daily steps. He started waking up earlier with a sense of purpose. He began actively helping out at home instead of just wandering the streets aimlessly. By actually doing something useful with his hours, he discovered that disciplined time gave him peace, and honest effort gave him pride.
Now look, a lot of us are living exactly like that kid used to, constantly telling ourselves, "Oh, I'll start tomorrow," or "Hey, I'm still young, there's plenty of time." But there is a very quiet danger in constantly delaying our lives. Lost time rarely shouts at you. It disappears quietly. These subtle little delays turn into deep habits, and those habits eventually shape a weak, directionless life.
So what can we actually do about this today? Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because trust me, it doesn't exist. You just have to start small. Set your alarm a little earlier tomorrow. Swap out just 1 hour of scrolling social media for that book you've been meaning to read, or finally begin that project you keep talking about with your friends. Every single hour you invest in yourself today is literally building the person you will become tomorrow.
So let's end on this thought, and I really want you to think about it. What is one thing you have been putting off that you will start today? Make a promise to yourself right now to stop wasting your unrecoverable wealth and turn this understanding into immediate momentum. Thanks so much for joining me today. Respect your time, and I'll catch you next time.